Terrace Community Redevelopment Agency. Welcome, Mr. Pauly. Amir, good to see you. Mrs. Boswell, Mrs. Tumbleson, pleasure. So, first item of business is approval of the minutes of our previous meeting of June 1st.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion or corrections to the minutes?
No.
If not, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Next item is a resolution approving the Community Redevelopment Agency budget for fiscal year 21-22. Finance Director Lynn Boswell will explain. Welcome, Mrs. Boswell. We're kind of running you ragged this week, aren't we?
Yes, actually. Good
Well,
evening.
thank you for all your work.
When the Temple Terrace City Council adopted its findings for the creation of a redevelopment district, the City Council designated itself as the Board of Directors for the newly created Temple Terrace Redevelopment, TTRA. As such, the TTRA exists as a dependent special district operating under the restrictions of Chapter 163, Part 2 of the Florida statutes. The estimated revenue to be received by the TTRA during the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022 from all sources equals the total of appropriations for expenditures and reserves in the budget during said period. You have the detail from Hillsborough County. We approximate $316,665. Tampa Port Authority, $5,471, and from Temple Terrace, $362,201, for a total of $684,337. All of the appropriation will go towards the debt from the redevelopment area. Staff recommends that the Temple Terrace Redevelopment Agency, City of Temple Terrace, Florida, adopt a resolution approving the annual budget for the Temple Terrace Redevelopment Agency for fiscal year 2021-2022.
Very good. Are there questions for Mrs. Boswell? Members of the public wish to comment on this item? Okay, if not, is there a motion to accept the budget? We have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays. The budget is passed. Thank you, Mrs. Boswell. Next item is approval of the Temple Terrace Redevelopment Agency meeting dates for fiscal year 21-22 and a status update. Business Relations Manager Greg Pauly is here to explain. Welcome, Mr. Pauly.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This first segment here is only addressing the upcoming dates. As you know, we do have to set 4 meetings, 1 per quarter, and then as the year goes on, if business warrants, then we can schedule special meetings and bring everyone back in. But what I would like to propose to you right now are the 4 dates that are currently on the screen. This keeps with the same calendar method that we have used for the last couple of years. It's the second meeting of the second month of each quarter. And just for the record, I'll read them aloud. We have November 16th, 2021, February 15th, 2022, May 17th, 2022, August 16th, 2022, all commencing at 5 p.m. here in this room. And at this point, staff would recommend that the CRA board adopt these dates.
Good. Colleagues, I know this is up to a year out. Are there any known conflicts with these dates at this point? No. Everybody's good? So, okay, I checked my calendar for the record. I'm not texting. I was looking at my calendar. So if those dates are acceptable, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the dates as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is all those in favor signify with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays. Those dates are established, and I think you were going to give us an update as well, Mr. Pauly?
Yes, sir, absolutely. The
great.
second part of my presentation here moves right into a status update for the CRA. Quick review, as you all know, the CRA was established back in September of 1999, consists of 225 acres centered at the crossroads of 56th Street and Bush Boulevard, and is referenced by quadrants northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. The CRA property consists of both commercial and residential parcels, extending as far west as the boundary with the city of Tampa, as far north as 98th Avenue, as far east as Ridgedale Road, and as far south as the Hillsborough River. You see it there on screen in the highlighted area. This budget snapshot is actually from our current fiscal year. Moving forward and throughout the quarterly meetings, I will be able to update you on the new fiscal year snapshots as we move into those. Again, everyone has seen this before. This was tallied out at our last quarterly meeting at 100% collected for Hillsborough, Tampa Port Authority, city revenue transfers, for a total revenue of $492,672, and then expense to general at $492,672. We have one completed project to report on tonight, and that is the Overlook Multifamily Triplex Expansion Project located in the northwest quadrant at 9237 Overlook Drive. Construction was completed a short time ago. The CO is pending the final TECO utility service connection. It's my understanding that that application has been filed, and as soon as that is all checked off, then they will issue a CO and be able to utilize that property. We have an estimated value added to the property of approximately $300,000. And there's what the finished project looks like. You may recall that all the way to the far left edge of the screen, there is a portion of the building that jets towards the street. That was the pre-existing structure. The new structure is what you see towards the back of the property that runs from left to right, which is actually from north to south. And now we'll talk a minute about the existing projects that we're currently tracking within the CRA. We still have construction going on at the Fountain Shops at Temple Terrace. After that, we have Waverly Terrace Luxury Apartments. We also have Enigma Plaza. We have the Salem's Fresh Eats, a quick service restaurant. We have Silvio Palms Residential Project. And we have a new one to report on. CVS has pulled a permit for interior remodel, and I'll report on that in just a moment. They're going to kind of wrap up the presentation here. The first one here is the Fountain Shops at Temple Terrace. This is the 2.5 acres in the southeast quadrant, right there at the southeast corner of Bullard Parkway and North 56th Street. The developer here is Paragon Property Group. He commenced in October of 2020 to build a project, commercial project of 5 separate buildings totaling a little more than 21,000 square feet of commercial space to be utilized for retail, for dining, banking, and professional offices. His initial land investment was just slightly under $3.6 million, and his estimated total finished construction is $3.4 million. That includes construction and site improvement cost. Looking at this next graphic, I've had to put 2 images on the screen here because it's difficult to get one image that shows everything, but they are linked as if they were one large image, one wide image. To the far left of the screen represents the south end of the Fountain Shops Plaza, and the tenant there is Starbucks. Next to that, we have a national chain sandwich shop within the same building. Then we skip to the next building to the north. That entire building will be occupied by a seafood restaurant, the Rocking Crab. Then we skip again to the next building to the north. Starting on the south side, we have a regional brand ice cream shop going in. We have a national brand day spa going in. Next to that, we have the AT&T store that you've heard me report on in the past. And then the next building to the north, the building that sits right on the corner, is the Chase Bank. As all of you know, the Chase Bank was the first to open their doors for business, and they did that just a few weeks ago on the 16th of last month. After that, we had Starbucks at the other end of the plaza on the 30th of last month, just a couple of weeks ago. The next project next to that, immediately to the east, is the Waverly Terrace apartment complex, and that sits on 4.85 acres in the southeast quadrant. The developer here is the Richmond Group of Florida. Consists of 200 residential units with high-end amenities and finishes, including a clubhouse and centrally located pool. The Waverly Terrace investment by the Richmond Group into the land was $3 million, and then an estimated $21 million for site improvements and construction. This project has been delayed slightly due to material sourcing delays. As you may recall, In previous discussions, I reported that they were shooting for an August-September TCO. They have amended that to be a November-December TCO. So we're looking to get the temporary certificate of occupancy for the north building, which is the one you're looking at here, issued hopefully in November. And that's a current status of construction as you see it there. And then the south building, also current status. Hopefully, we can have the TCO on that ready in December. And for anyone that's interested in this property or learning more about this property, I've included the sites or the community's web address as well as their social media Instagram handle. After that, we have the Enigma Plaza down at the just south of Chicago Avenue there. The developer here is Enigma Realtors. This project is 2 acres in the southeast quadrant, located at 8633 North 56th Street. It is an old retail structure that is being remodeled and reconfigured into 34,000 plus square feet of retail space and dining space. The site plan for this project was approved in April of this year. The exterior walls are currently being converted to storefronts and large window openings. The developer here, Enigma Realtors, invested $1.5 million into the land and old existing structure and plans to spend approximately $1.3 for the complete renovation. After that, we have the Salem's QSR, located on 0.61 acres in front of Tampa Mall, located at 5400 East Bush Boulevard. This project began construction in January of this year with an estimated value of improvements about $600,000. Here you can see the exterior block and stucco has been completed. The interior framing is underway, and the project is on schedule to be completed later this year. After that, we have the Silvio Palms residential project. As you recall, this is a Habitat for Humanity community consisting of 12 single-family homes and a centrally located community park being built in the northwest quadrant in the area of Temple Heights Road and Overlook Drive. Total parcel is 2.4 acres. Here you can see the site preparation and infrastructure is well underway. A couple of snapshot renderings, a couple of the single-story renderings. And again, this is review. You've seen these images previously. And there's the second story or the 2-story rendering that they provided. And here's the new one to report on. A short time ago, CVS, located in the redevelopment at 110 Bullard Parkway, applied for permits to do some interior remodel at the interior back of their store. I don't know if you've been in the store lately, but the entire back of the store is blocked off. It's a small little construction zone. I was there just the other day visiting. They've done a great job keeping everything contained behind the tarps and such. But what they're doing is they are installing one of their Health Hub services locations in this store. And what that will allow is for that store, through their medical staff, to provide on-site diagnostic services and treatment for common illnesses and conditions, as well as physical health, mental health, and nutrition services. It's all done right on store. A lot of it can be scheduled online. They do a lot of what they call minute clinics, minute clinic consulting. It's a great service for traditional medical services that doesn't necessarily require a visit to the doctor's office or a visit to the ER.
Greg, will that, excuse the interruption, will that replace the retail portion of that, or will that just occupy part of it? So
It's what they've done is they've gone in the very back of the store and they've moved their pharmacy and what they had in there previously as their health check area. They've kind of moved everything to the right side, and most of this construction is going in the back left corner.
Okay, so it'll still be a CVS store.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll just have this in it as well.
Yeah, this is actually a model, they started a couple years ago. I'm sorry, I don't have that note with me, but I want to say they started this model in 2019. And they started it elsewhere in the country, and it really took off. And allowing people to do minute clinic consultations and to come in and get treatment for some of the ailments and the conditions that don't necessarily require, sitting in a doctor's office waiting for hours or in a hospital ER for forever. They're able to bring people in, give them consultation and health services right there on the spot. And it's really taken off. They're starting to move all over the country with these. So I was excited to see that we had one coming here to Temple Terrace. Going back to the slide here, we have 3 remaining parcels still within the CRA property inventory. We have 8901 North 56th Street, we have 8447 North 56th Street, and we have 205 South River Hills Drive. All of these are located in the southeast quadrant of the redevelopment area. 8901 North 56th Street is roughly 1.7 acres. It's a ready-to-build site located right there just south of the fountain shops on 56th Street. It's immediately west of the Waverly Terrace apartment community. There's the site from the roadway. We do have some interest in this property. Both myself, Mr. Stevenson, and our broker, Mr. Berman, have had conversations with potential buyers. We are not at this point ready to bring you a proposal on this particular parcel, but we are in discussions, and we are starting to get a little bit more interest and a little bit more traction. The next one here is the old restaurant structure located at 8447 North 56th Street, sitting on 1.74 acres. This is the one that's just south of the Enigma Plaza project. And that's the current old building that's occupies the property. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll back up here one second. We do also have interest in this property. Again, you'll probably, hopefully, see offers come in on this property before the other one. We do have, I won't say how many or who they are because it's still a bid process, but hopefully next time we meet, I'll be able to talk about offers on this property, or at least Mr. Berman will have offers to present on this property. I spoke to him yesterday on this particular piece, and it's still growing interest. And finally, as you know, the property at the Riverside parcel is under consideration for other public uses. As far as commercial sale, we've had no interest recently in this property. I'd like to thank you for your time and allow me to present this update, and I'll be happy to stand for any questions you may have.
Council members, questions?
I just remember when Steak and Ale first opened, a long time ago. Yeah, that was a great restaurant. It was a nice building, too. Thank you.
Questions?
Thank you.
I do. Where are we with the last parcel that we're considering for public use? This is a nice way to say that we want to use it.
As far as the public use portion of that we've talked about, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to defer either to Mr. Stevenson or Mr. Langfeld on that, because that is not necessarily within my sandbox. Obviously, any offers that come in or any interest that come in to purchase the property, I would be able to report back on. But as far as the other side of that, I would have to defer.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chambers,
that-
I'll let him respond.
Yeah, it's another question.
Okay.
Yeah, that public use is built into this coming year's budget as a paddle park. So we are gonna repurpose that piece of property for not development, but public use.
Council, or agency member, I can't keep track. Yeah. Mr. Chambers.
Yeah.
Again, I know who I am, thank you. Do we have a timeline for Enigma? Any idea?
I would love to say I have a hard timeline, but I don't at this point. We've had several conversations with him. He has spoken to both myself and Mr. Stevenson and also Mr. Berman on other ideas that he has. Some of those ideas conflict with what this council approved last year. And I explained to him that if he did wish to change, he would have to come before you, and that would all have to be presented. So he's kind of in that stage right now, and I don't know necessarily which way he's going. But he does know that a change to a project approved by council, the CRA board, would have to come back for a re-review.
Okay, that concerns me a little bit. He's got construction workers working on that building right
Yes, he
now.
does.
Is he building what he said he was gonna build, or is he building something different?
The work that you see underway right now and the work that was displayed in the photo I had up on the screen a moment ago is consistent with either idea that he has discussed. Both his first idea, which was the one that you are all familiar with, that I've spoke on several times, and potentially a modified plan. But again, I'm speaking to you only based on verbal conversation. He has not submitted anything in writing for us to share.
So what's the status? I'm assuming that this project, he's pulled permits and stuff to build? And his permits are to build what we approved, I'm assuming, right?
Yes,
So what happens if he starts building something else? I mean, I guess you put a stop work order on it?
we cannot build or deviate from approved plan. So far, we issue a demo permit. That's what he's working on, making all these openings, interior, basically gutting the building out. However, we issued the building permit too, okay, is ready to be moving forward. But if he wants to deviate from that platform, he has to come back before you first, get the confirmation, make the changes. If it's approved, then we have to change and revise the plan.
Okay, and he understands that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, clearly, yes.
We've both had conversations with him on this.
Yes, I clearly stated to him and his associate, you cannot deviate from what has been presented to the council. If you wish to make any changes, the first step is you come before the council, make the new presentation. If gets approved, then we go back to the drawing board, make the changes is required. Yes.
And I certainly don't want to get into your business. Everybody here knows more about this business than I do. But I just have to wonder if it's worth sending him a follow-up letter memorializing that conversation so that if he goes to build something else and you stop work and red tag the project, he doesn't try to come back and say, well, they said it was okay or something. I mean,
So his current plans are exactly what you approved.
Sure.
no, I understand that. I'm just wondering if it's smart to memorialize what you told him in a written document to say, no, this is what we told you on this date.
I have plenty of emails.
That's
All right, okay,
been
Yes.
documented.
okay, all right.
Not been
You,
documented.
I don't want to get into your, yeah,
And-
We,
you're comfortable.
Mr. Singh has presented a couple uses in the building other than retail and dining that was approved, right? The building aesthetics will stay the same. And if he wants to come in with some other use, it needs to be an appropriate use.
Yeah.
And what he's been coming back with is just some pretty far-fetched ideas that
Okay.
we're just not going to buy into it. I mean, if he wants to change even the use of the building, we'll bring it back to council for council or redevelopment agency
Yeah.
to approve. I mean, we're holding him steadfast on what you told us you were going to build. We expect to see.
Okay,
So-
very good. Mr. Sisley?
Does he come back before the CRA or does he come back before council? It doesn't really matter
You would
except for
have
the
to come back
fact that,
before council.
oh, doesn't, because he was just saying CRA for a second. It has to come back before CRA. We don't meet again until October. So I would hate to see him have to shut down work because it's in a pretty ugly state right now. So if just council, that's quicker.
To be perfectly honest with this board, he promised me documents 2 Fridays ago. And he was very committed to delivering those documents that would explain in more detail what his vision is. I still do not have those documents. So I'm not sure when I will
When you
be able
reach
to
out him,
report more on
what
that.
do you say?
They're not ready.
So we we can meet. I mean, if something,
we
I
can.
mean, if we get an offer on one of the properties or something, I mean, we can always call a meeting if we had to, if there's some significant
Let's back
business.
off.
right? Okay. Council
Forgot it was
members,
on.
questions?
I have no questions. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Polly.
Thank you.
Is there other business to come before the CRA? Mrs. Tumbleson, I don't see on my cheat sheet here a specific time to invite public comment, but I see you're here. Would you like 3 minutes to comment on any of this? No, thank you. Okay. Very good. City manager, anything else?
No, sir.
City attorney, we're good. Mr. Polly, we're good. Council members, everybody's, we're good. All right, well, see you guys at 6 o'clock. We're adjourned.